play and call it work. MiniWarGaming's Warhammer 40k Battle Reports!
Hey there, Wargamers, Josh and Luka here to go through the brand spanking new Adeptus Mechanicus book. We're going to take a read through in this video and look at some of the differences, some of the changes that they've made, as well as the new things they've added in. So this is going to be kind of a no-nonsense, just go straight through the book. This is in no ways exhaustive of everything in here. I think I noticed most of the changes, but I might have missed a couple. But yeah, we're going to kind of go over some of the little tweaks that they've made to the list and give our thoughts on them. Now, Luka, you're not much of an Ad Mech player, but you play shooty armies. You're familiar with shooty armies.
So
your silly Necrons.
My experience with Ad Mech are my friends play them.
Okay.
And I played against them a lot in 7th edition. I think maybe 2 times in 8th edition. So I am your yes man.
There we go. That works. That works. I'm just, I got you here because you're the second most handsome guy here at MiniWarGaming, other than myself. So, yeah.
I would gladly hold that title.
Mm-hmm. We're going to start off by taking a look at Belisarius Call. They really haven't changed much on him other than the wording on Master of Machines. So, Luke, you want to give us a read-through of Master of Machines for Belisarius Call?
So this is a start to finish for Master of Machines. At the end of your movement phase, a Belisarius Call can repair a single friendly Imperium model within 3 inches, but not himself. The model being repaired regains 1 lost wound, unless it is an Adeptus Mechanicus model, in which case it regains D3 lost wounds instead. A model may not be the target of the Master of Machines ability more than once per turn.
Nice and simple. So the only real change we have here is the fact that now he can target Imperium stuff. Before it was only Ad Mech. He's only healing 1 wound off something, but it's still pretty good. Yeah. So nice little tweak. And other than that, as far as I can tell, his rules are the exact same.
In fact, as we go through this book, you'll realize everything he has, like all his special rules, are just strictly better because of the way they work with the book.
Right. I mean, like,
so he's inherently buffed.
He's gotten the buff because he works better with the army overall.
Very well.
Okay. Continuing on to the next one here, we're going to the Tech Priest Indominus. The exact same thing, except for, as previously, they've changed the Master of Machines.
Yeah. So this one only affects a single friendly Forge World, or, any of your Forge Worlds, or a Questor? Is that Questor?
Questor, I think it's Questor.
Questor Mechanicus model within 3 inches, but not himself. If it's a Forge World model, D3 lost wounds. If it's a Questor Mechanicus, only 1. So cut the Imperium keyword.
And the exact same thing. Now he can heal the knights that are part of this list.
Yep. Which are now all included in the book as well.
Pretty simple. Effective little kind of tweaks to the wording of it, because it was weird they could only repair Ad Mech stuff previously.
Exactly.
Now the next guy here, this is actually the Tech Priest Engine, Engine Seer.
This is a nice change, I think, for the book.
I think this is a big change for the book.
It is, yeah.
They've changed the Master Machines a little bit, so he's able to repair friendly Forge World vehicles, Astra Militarum vehicles, or Questor Mechanicus models. And if he's repairing something from the Forge World or Astra Militarum, it's D3 wounds. If it's Questor Mechanicus, it's 1 lost wound. So it makes sense.
Yep.
Fixes up your vehicles.
The big part there now is in HQ.
Yeah, they've moved him from being, I think he was an elite choice previously, to an HQ.
Choice. So instead of all your lists just being Belisarius Call and a Tech Priest Dominus, you can
you can do something different.
You can do something different now. So I'm sure that'll be nice. I remember the first few games I played against, it was always the same list.
Well, that was my gripe, because I said, really, because I don't count special characters when you look at HQ choices, they had 1 HQ choice.
Yep, they only really had 1. I mean, this guy's not an amazing HQ, but at least it's a cheap HQ.
I don't mind him hanging at the back and just kind of fix the, well, I guess he can fix robots, but everything can fix robots, but he can also fix up your, the Onagers, the Doom Crawlers.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, for sure.
Nice and easy there. Moving over to actual, and we're just going through profile changes here, guys. We're not going to do the points yet. Skitarii Rangers, the exact same.
Same. They're still troops. Ooh. Vanguard, same.
Now, they've changed the Cataphron Breachers a little bit.
Yes.
So they've gotten a boost with both their movement and their attacks. So they went from 2 attacks each to 3, and they've went from 5 movement to 6.
Are these the guys who specialize in combat? The Breachers are the Destroyers.
The Breachers are a little bit better in combat because they have either the
3-up save.
They have the claws, yeah.
And the 3-ups. That's how I remember them.
Yeah, so you differentiate them?
Yeah, the 3-up save guys versus the 4-up save guys. The 4-up save guys.
They're the less shooty. They're the more kind of anti-vehicle one. But then looking at Cataphron Destroyers, they get the same treatment. They get an extra attack and an extra inch of movement.
I don't know. What do you think the premise is behind the extra attack is on the destroyers? Even they're all heavy grav, plasma culverin, blasters, Cognate flamers. Why do they have an extra attack?
Did they need it? I don't really know.
I mean, it's.
I'm not going to complain about it, but I'm not going to go, yes, I want to get them in combat now. They're still here to shoot, but a nice little buff. The extra inch of movement is nice, though.
That's a big deal.
It does speed them up a bit.
Extra movement is always good.
Right. In an army that lacks transports and it's just a really slow kind of setup. Servitors, the exact same. Nothing fancy there. Cybernetica Datasmith. Again, he's working the exact same. Saharan Ruststalkers. They are the same. They did change the infiltrators, and I think that this was part of an FAQ change they did a little while back anyways. They lost an attack.
Yep, so they're down to base attacks 2, and the Princeps are base attack 3 now, which is, I mean...
Pretty good for them.
Yeah.
They were, I think the thing is, I still would take infiltrators almost every time over Ruststalkers because they're a little bit more versatile.
Well, what do you like the best about them? What's your favorite?
Well, I mean, they're quick anyways, but they've got they actually do infiltrate in.
His
and
actual
they've got shooting
infiltrate
attacks.
Rule. The flush blaster. Yeah, I've always liked the
hilarious.
flush blaster. Yeah.
But then, I mean,
how many shots you got?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a pistol. Oh, so one shot? No, this unit of 5 is going to shoot 25 shots.
It was strength 2 last edition, right? That's one thing I remember.
I think it was strength 2 with like shred or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's going back last edition. This is like me just looking at the Codex for the...
Now it's just straight up strength 3, which is pretty good. But even like the stub carbines, they're 18-inch range pistol 3, strength 4.
Oh wow, they even reduced leadership by 1. The neurostatic aura.
Yeah,
that's bigger than you think. If you can remember -1 leadership, it'll come up.
Yeah, exactly. So I really like this unit. And the Power Surge and Taser Goads, I find they're better in combat than the Ruststalkers anyway, who always fail to roll the 6s to do mortal wounds. So, I don't know, Ruststalkers now, it makes sense to get an extra attack.
Yeah, because
when Infiltrators were 3-4 for attacks, they were the super obvious choice. I still think they're way better, but hey guys, that's just me. Flipping through. The Electro Priests, no changes there. Same thing with the Dragoons and Ballistari.
Nope, nothing.
Over to my
robots.
favorite thing ever, robots.
They got a good nerf, actually.
I don't know. It's a make sense nerf.
Yeah, but it is still a nerf.
It's true. So they've changed the way the repulsor grid works.
I don't like Ad Mech. Oh.
You haven't played them that much.
I
guess
know,
your
you know
buddies
what?
play them.
Okay.
Have you played me with Ad Mech?
It's not that I don't like Ad Mech. I've always hated the Castellan robots. I've always hated toughness. I hated toughness 7 in 7th edition. It was super obnoxious. And
they're only 6 wounds though. It's not that bad.
The 3-up save. They had 3 wounds each before.
Yep.
So they were tougher Carnifex. They were shot way too many shots. They had vulnerable saves. They had that stupid little guy with the power fist who stood out in front of them because it was 7th edition. He'd have a 2-up armor save. If not, you can.
Right.
Yeah. I've always hated these guys.
So, do you want to read the nerf to the repulsor grid then?
This is probably more of a gamey nerf. I guess not really. So all models in this unit have a 5 invulnerable save against shooting attacks. In addition, each time you roll a 6, now here's the change. After rerolls but before modifiers is the big stipulation there. For a grid's invulnerable saving throw, the unit made the attack, suffers a mortal wound. Now before, when you're playing these guys, if you were aware of the rule, you could add modifiers to their saving throws.
It was the Aegis Protocol.
Yes.
Yeah, you could have them on for +1 to their saves.
Yes, so all of a sudden on a 5 or 6, you're throwing back mortal wounds. But did they FAQ that before, or did they just kind of throw that into the Codex?
This is new. I think this is new for that Codex. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. I will still use them just as much as I always did.
Well, I mean, they're still good. I mean,
they're still fantastic. Yeah. They're still super killy. I remember I was playing a game a while ago against one of the regulars named Mike.
Yeah.
And I killed his entire Centurion Devastator squad in his own shooting phase.
You should feel bad about that. You should feel bad.
I didn't take any damage. I rolled
feel
really
bad
high.
about that.
I didn't though. I thought it was really. I still think it's funny. He didn't think it was funny though.
So you've got the 3 protocols still. The first 2 haven't changed, but Protector protocols have.
Yes.
So Protector protocol is the one where it lets you shoot twice essentially, but they've reworded it. Instead of shooting twice, you just double the shots.
Right.
Which the biggest change for that is you cannot do 4 targets, right?
Right.
Yeah. Instead of shooting 4 times with your 2 weapons, or twice with each weapon.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You can't, like, if you got your heavy phosphor blaster, you can't go, well, the first 3 shots are here, and then I get to shoot again, and the shots are going to go over here.
Yeah.
You're putting all the shots in the same spot.
Now the shots are just doubled, so you only get We can still split fire.
So
we
each
can't do
robot
as
can
much.
target 2 different units.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, it's not quite as silly as it was before, but it's still pretty darn good.
Not that that really came up too much, at least not in my experience. I've never had to worry about them split firing across 4 of my squads and wiping out all 4 squads.
I played a couple times where I was playing against multiple small unit Space Marines,
Oh, all right.
which isn't necessarily that viable in this edition anyways, but yeah, the fact that I could be like, you know what, my 1 squad of robots is just
Why
going to wipe
not?
out 6 units a turn. Sure, just for fun,
You
sure.
had that game?
That was Mike again, I think.
Again, another reason to feel bad.
No, don't feel
Sapping
bad.
the fun out of the game.
Who's that? I had tons of fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no! Next guy.
So the Onager Doomcrawler. I'm just going to point out the fact that they fixed it in an FAQ, but they printed the wrong wound bracket again.
So his remaining wounds is back to the classic 7 to 11.
And then 3 to 5 is the next bracket?
The mysterious 6, where he's just immortal. He doesn't go anywhere. He's just back to full wounds, back to full movement. You know, he's not affected.
He becomes the Omnissiah. He is.
That's
it's just the win condition. It's the automatic win condition.
Doomcrawler to 6 wounds, you win the game. But yeah, they printed that silliness again, so I'm sure there'll be yet again another FAQ saying, well, you know what, guys, oops.
I feel bad for the guy that copied and pasted this over. Whatever British guy did this, you're just silly.
It's okay.
We've got the Knights added in here
Yes,
now.
so now
I don't
that's a
think
new
there's
addition.
any stats changes, but we've got now it's Questor Mechanicus.
Yeah.
And they pick whatever household they're a part of.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I don't know if they're going to do much else with it. There's a couple of the stratagems that make use of the
There is?
Questor Mechanicus. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to
But
ask, because
very little.
there's no actual synergy with Questor Mechanicus other than repairing 1 wound to them,
Right.
and then maybe the 1 stratagem that yeah.
So I don't know if this means that we're not going to see an Imperial Knight book then, or what? Because what's the point then? I don't know. Are they going to get their own stratagems and all this, or is this just what Knights are now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see the harm in printing an Imperial Knight book. Like, they're not Questor Mechanicus normally, right? What are they normally? They're just Imperial. What is their keyword? What is their faction
There's
keyword?
Questor.
They're still Questor Mechanicus?
No. In the other book, I think they were Questor Imperium or whatever it was. I
Okay,
can't
like the
remember
index, like the Imperial.
Yeah, in the
Index,
index.
Okay.
So I don't see any real changes here. Nothing to really make note of other than that.
They're all Imperial Knights. There's no changes. They have all the same rules as they did before.
Keep flipping through. Okay, let's actually jump
Boys
to the
are
back
loud.
of the book, and we're going to talk about some point cost changes.
Oh, there's a couple of nice ones here, actually. They're all not across the board, but for the most part, lower changes.
Yeah, I mean they all make sense. I think in a grand total, there's 5 point cost changes or
Yeah.
6. So unlike the Chaos book, where I think Dave and I went
geez.
through, and there was a couple there was 2 dozen. There's 6 here, and they are all minor. So starting off, we've got the
Fulgurite Electro Priests. 1 point cheaper. Here you go. 17.
no,
to
they're 1 point more.
17 to
they-
16? Oh, they were 16.
They were 16, now they're 17.
The note. Never mind, they're 1 point more expensive, so take that, I guess.
They're still really good though. I mean, these are the guys that have the mortal wounds on 6s.
Yep.
They'll still mulch whatever. I don't mind paying an extra point per model
I mean, neither would I. I'd still bring them.
in a heartbeat. We need to get. We need to
How
get
many are you
like
bringing in a
30
squad?
more.
10?
We only have 10, so I always bring 10.
Like,
I've done 2
how many-
squads of 5.
How many can you have in a squad? Is it
It's 5 to 20.
10? Oh, 20. Oh, wow.
20 would be hilarious, but
So, I
I
mean,
still
even if you were
want
to bring a
multiples of 10.
Even if you're bringing a full squad of 20, that's 20 less points. That's like, what, 1 less special weapon somewhere?
Yeah, doesn't make a big difference.
I mean, I guess that does count towards something.
But that makes up for it when we look at the Rangers of the Vanguard.
Yes, because it just counteracts that anyways, because you're going to be bringing these guys regardless. They're the only troops, right?
No, they've got the Cataphrons.
The Cataphrons are troops as well. So you're looking at Skitarii Rangers. They used to be 10 points. Now they're 8. That's 2 points cheaper. That's huge. That does add up. Like we were joking
adds up
about,
really quick.
Yeah, joking about the 1 point increase. That eventually does add up to a couple special weapons if you're bringing 2 squads of them. These guys, if you bring, what do they come in squads of 10?
Yeah, 5 to 10.
Yeah, so you bring 2 or 3 squads of these guys, max squads, you're looking at 60 points.
Yep.
That's 60 free points for you right there.
And it's just more special weapons.
And that's just like free special weapons for them.
Because, yeah, if you take
Well,
10 of
not
them, they
free,
still
but,
give
yeah.
you the... Because you can take 2 special weapons, but if you take a full squad of 10, you can take a 3rd special weapon, too.
There you go. And then these special weapons are, they quickly fill up the 60 points, but those are special
Pretty-
weapons that
yeah,
you
they're
would have had to pay
expensive,
for
but
before.
they're good. And then we've got the Skitarii Vanguard. They were 10 points, now they're 9. I actually kept getting this backwards. It makes sense in this edition. I like the Vanguard a lot more than I like the Rangers.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they weren't really that used last edition, were they?
Not really. I mean, the guns were pretty well the same, but assault weapons are a lot different than they used to be, I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In this edition, yeah. No, they're still really, really kind of handy little units. So moving over to a couple of weapon changes. So we got the, what was it, the Cognate Flamer, I think went up or went down 1 point.
Yep. Cognate Heavy Stepper down 3. Heavy Arc Rifle down 10?
It's pretty good.
I mean, I've played against Arc Rifle before. It's fine. It was obviously great against vehicles, as it should be. What are people mostly bringing on Breachers?
On Breachers, I don't know. To be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of Breachers being used in the meta.
That's fair.
But then again, I'm not keeping up with the meta a whole lot, and I never really liked the Cataphrons much.
Anytime I played
might
against,
start using them now, but
anytime I played against Breachers, it was always the Arc Rifle.
is the heavy arc rifle?
I think it's just because they liked it.
I used to
I don't
take
know.
torsion cannons in the previous edition. In this edition, I don't think there's that big of a difference.
Well, I think
Because the arc
Breachers.
rifles, I think, have extra shots.
these are the guys that take the 3-up armor save, right?
Yeah, those are
Yes,
the 3
okay.
armor save guys.
Because I think the other guys in the last edition was obviously all the grab spam.
But yeah, 10 points cheaper. That's pretty nice.
That also adds up quite a bit if you really like bringing arc rifle. So if you're that guy who likes to bring
Who's got like 30 of these things sitting around?
with
anyways?
all arc rifles,
Yeah.
there you go. You just saved yourself many points.
Handy dandy. So that's what we have for changes. Again, they really didn't change much, but I don't think they needed to change much in this list.
Nope.
So
pretty. I don't know. I don't want to say boring, but there's not a lot of exciting changes.
right.
From what you're used to in the index to this new codex, other than obviously all the new things they added. And as we get into it, you'll see the buffs, the innate buffs to Belisarius, because everyone likes to bring Belisarius.
Yeah.
He's like almost a must bring. He's super cheap.
He's really good. But now there's reasons where you may or may not bring him, because we're going to talk about different Forge Worlds.
That's probably, unless you like Mars, then you probably won't be bringing Belisarius all that much.
Right.
As we'll get into that now.
I don't know, man. Like, I really like Mars still. Okay.
Okay,
So what
Mars
we're going to do
is
is we're going to talk about the Congregations of War,
Yeah.
the list. So we have Soldiers of the Machine God. This is the standard. All the troops in an Ad Mech detachment, they control an objective if they're within range, even if there's more enemy models.
It's the standard. The troop
Everybody's
objective
got it,
secured.
yeah.
Everyone's going to get it. So at first, I thought maybe it was only going to be a Space Marine thing, which I would have been upset about, because
Yeah.
Space Marine's already annoying. But it looks like all the troops are getting it across the board.
Right.
I mean, watch there be that one book that doesn't get it. Like
And
orcs.
then Necrons won't get it or something.
Like orcs. Like, why would why Necrons?
Because I don't like Necrons.
Or even
Necron players.
Tyranids. We don't like Tyranids.
So they have Forge World Dogmas, which, for lack of a better term, it's like your Space Marine tactics.
I was going to say
your
Legion
chapter
trait.
tactics,
Your
or
chapter
your Legion
tactics.
traits,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them. There's 7 different ones in here. What we're actually going to do is we're going to go through all of the generic stratagems
Yes.
and artifacts first, and Warlord traits, get them out of the way, and then go back and do the Forge World specific ones.
Yeah, we'll focus on each Forge World specifically and what kind of playstyle it has. And
Right, exactly.
what
I
it
think
looks
that's the
like.
easiest way to get the playstyle, because reading through, it's easy to forget, which one is that again, and
Yeah.
the synergies. So
I'm not too familiar with the Forge World names, other than Mars. I mean, I've
we're
heard of
gonna
Mars.
butcher all these. Well, I think all of them.
I've heard of Mars. Metallica's pretty cool. There's Forge World Metallica, so that's the first one that poked.
They used to be cooler. No, their latest album's good. So yeah, I think most of these I've heard of before. But let's go over to some stratagems. Starting off with, we're gonna go just I think back and forth on these, Luka.
Sure. You take the first one.
Yep, because we're gonna butcher the names of some of
I,
these too.
I like the name of that one. I want to take it. Let me do it.
You want to do it?
Gloria Mechanicus. It sounds so cool. Use the stratagem at any time to immediately change which canticle the Omnisci is being canted. Canted, eh? Is that a word? Yeah, I guess it is. I'm not
Yeah.
very... Okay. You can either choose a canticle you have not already chosen in this battle, or randomly select one in the usual way. So, at any time. So you do it on your turn, your enemy's turn. All of a sudden you need that cover. You
Sure.
have, yeah, if you've already chosen it, then you have to roll for it. If you have Belisarius, you get like, what, a 33% chance? What is the...
Because you can adjust it up and down by one.
Up and down by one, yeah. So you need that cover, 2 command points, bam.
There's some cheeky things when we talk about the dogmas that is going to happen with
Yeah,
this.
there's going to be a lot of weird ones.
Yeah. But this one, yeah, it's nice to just be able to instantly switch whatever you need. So I could see this in the turn where, I mean, you pick one of the shooting canticle, and then you get to charge into combat with stuff, and you immediately swap it to one of those.
The electrical fist one or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
So I think this is one, yeah, for 2 command points, I'm not going to be building a list around it.
You
But,
might use it once every few games.
right.
You never know.
Next, we got the Divine Chorus. Use this stratagem once per battle. Before determining which canticle of the Omnisci will be in effect, choose a canticle that's already been chosen earlier in the game to take effect.
2 command points for that, though.
It's expensive.
That's super expensive.
I think, again, this is another one like Glory Mechanicus where you're going to use it on the turn that you need to win.
Yeah.
If it's,
That'll push you
it's
to that
all or
win.
so who cares if you spend the 2 points?
You shoot everything you charge in. I don't actually, what is that canticle called, the melee one?
There's a couple of them. What, are you looking for the one with the extra strength, or?
I like the lightning one. Or at least in the last edition, it would do like anything in base contact would take a
Oh,
lightning hit.
this one you get a roll of 6.
Oh,
It's the Litany of the Electromancer. Roll a d6 for each enemy unit within an inch of an affected unit. On a roll of 6, the unit being rolled for suffers d3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, I like the Remorseless Fist. That's what I'm thinking of, right?
Reroll hit rolls of 1.
Is that the best one for?
Well, I mean, there's that, and depending what you're facing, there's Invocation of Machine Might, which is +1 strength.
That could be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's actually a lot of options, which is good. I mean, if anything, this book seems to be a lot about options.
Right, you can kind of tailor to whatever you're playing against.
Again, that being 2 command points, like Josh said, this is a push to win one.
Yep.
It just, I wonder if you can do both the same. No, I don't even need to do both. Anyway, the next one, this one's kind of expensive. 3 command points. Zealous Congregation. Use this stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Select an Electro Priest unit from your army. They can immediately fight for a second time. So now this is a familiar one that you're seeing across all the books. Actually, except
But this is only Electro Priest. You can't pick any other unit.
They're
to
getting
swing with.
they're starting to get very specific.
Right.
So the Chaos Codex one, you can only do Khorne infantry or bikers or.
Oh,
Dread.
right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't
getting
know
more
what the
specific.
I don't know what the Space Marine one was, but I think it was because like obviously Space Marines aren't that melee centric, so it didn't really matter what you chose. It had to be.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think it was
what
just infantry, bike, or dreadnought, or whatever.
I think it was something like that. Yeah, so
something
like
that.
like assault Terminator squad maybe for the best effect, but
3 command points, super expensive.
they're all 3 command points too. So you're paying to do this, but this could be a game. That could be a game winner too.
That could be well because your priests, the Fulgurite ones with the staff, if they wipe out a unit in close combat, they go from a 5-up invuln to a 3-up invuln.
Yeah. So you really push for that 3-up invuln, or you fight with a unit. Obviously, you wipe that unit out with the Electro Priest. You consolidate 3 inches into another unit. Boom! You fight again, wipe out a second unit.
I don't know. I'm not in love with it for 3 command points.
No, neither am I.
All right.
It's too expensive. I've used it a couple times. Obviously not this specific thing, but the similar ones.
Maybe if I built a list around it and I had like a couple big 20-man blobs of those.
How cool would that feel, though? You have a 20-man blob Electro Priest. They wipe something
They're
out.
going to still wipe out anything anyway.
They
yeah,
pile
I guess
in,
so.
and then they immediately fight again. Well, not immediately. At the end of the fight phase, they fight again, but that would just feel so good.
That would be scary. We get the Elimination Volley. I like this one for 2 command points because this is one I might build a list somewhat around. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase if a forge-rolled Cataphren Destroyer unit from your army is within 6 inches of a forge-rolled Castellan Robot unit from your army. Add 1 to the hit rolls for both units this phase.
That's just generally useful. +1 to hit. What are they hitting on normally? 4s?
Yeah, they're 4s.
Okay, so that helps a lot. A ton.
And you probably have Call nearby for rerolls.
So
like,
3-up re-rolling. Yeah.
you can turn that into a really mean shooting phase.
It's weird the stipulation you have to have them beside each other. So Castellan robots and the Cataphren destroyers.
I think what they're trying to do is there was one of the formations in 7th, which was taking these guys together and they got bonuses. So
One of
that's
those.
what they're trying to
Okay.
give you a throwback to.
And this one, 2 command points, a little expensive, but again, it could be a pretty heavy hit. Like this could take out a lot of stuff. Like the destroyers being the ones with the super heavy weapons. And
Right.
the Castellan robots with 80,000 shots each, so it's always good to have +1 to hit on that. The next one, interesting, Binharic?
Binaric?
That's
like
not
binary.
not binary, is it?
Yeah.
Binharic? Binharic?
Binaric.
Binaric?
I sound
Bonaric?
like extra down east when I say it now.
I know. Override.
The override, yeah.
1 command point. Use this stratagem at the end of any phase to change the battle protocols of one of your Castellan robots. That unit's battle protocols cannot then be changed for any reason for the remainder of the battle. Oh wow, that's a. Would you use that? Probably. Like if they're
Maybe.
if they're about to die, you swap to the +1 save.
Or I just get them to the place where, like, you know what? I was able to move them up, and now they're where I want. I want to immediately change to the shoot twice,
No.
or the double shots.
They don't need
Let's
to
do
move
this.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're in the middle of the board. I'm happy with where they're at. And again, this is the turn where I'm going to try to cripple your army.
What's the range on the weapons? Like 36?
36, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, well, I guess you can't use it more than once.
No.
But yeah, I could see that
For any reason for the remainder of the battle. Yeah.
just pushing you over the edge of
1 command point for this one, so it's not bad.
that one with using robots as much as I do. I like it.
Yeah. Oh.
Next one, the Archeo Tech Specialists. It's just the extra relic one, guys. 1 command point for 1 extra relic, 2 extra relics for 3 command points.
Yep.
You can
Nothing
only use the
crazy.
stratagem once.
Everyone's getting this thing.
Yeah.
This is never really worth it. At least I haven't seen that in any case where it'd be really worth it to spend a command point on that.
Not for... and when we get to the relics, you'll see why. I don't think there's
Oh,
anything
there's
there.
nothing really, yeah.
No, they're pretty boring.
Scragger Skull. I remember Scragger Skulls. Use this stratagem at any time to do one of the following. Reveal D3 hidden setup markers if your opponent is using concealed deployment. Identify a mysterious objective anywhere on the battlefield, so the same as last edition. Or shoot with an Adeptus Mechanicus unit from your army without the penalties to your hit rolls from the Dawn Raid, Low Visibility, or Cover of Darkness rules. So it's 1 command point to ignore like special scenario rules or essentially that. So if you're playing special scenarios,
The
you use
Scragger
this
Skull could be pretty handy.
or to reveal hidden objective, any mysterious objectives. So like a 1, but would you spend a command point on this?
I haven't played many games where any of these rules are taking part.
I know. So generally, probably not. I mean, it's nice they threw in the Scragger Skull from last edition.
Right, I mean, that you can still kind of make use of the little fella, but he's not actually a model anymore.
Not really worth a command point
He's a stratagem.
in my book.
Next we
He's
get
a
the...
stratagem.
He's a stratagem now. Next we get the Data Spike. Use this stratagem immediately after fighting with an Adeptus Mechanicus character. Resolve 1 additional attack against an enemy vehicle with 1 inch of the character. If the attack hits, the enemy vehicle suffers D3 mortal wounds.
So to throw back to some of the other stratagems, so yeah, like the Space Marine where you have like Hellfire Shells.
Yep.
The heavy bolter, just if it hits, does D3 mortal wounds. 1 command point, very similar. You see this across a few books actually.
Right.
Or it's just like a way to throw it, like a smite essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, very scenario specific smite. So this one, your character has to be within 1 inch of a vehicle. Probably not going to come up all that much, but you know, as D3
It's
mortal.
just hilarious to, be fighting that enemy Chaos Knight and just,
D3 mortal
he's
wounds
got
takes it
2
out.
wounds left and just kind of poke him to death.
Yeah, that's like.
Situational, I don't see, again, you're not going to build a list around this.
And then again, a lot of stratagems across a lot of the books are very situational as well. So don't feel bad if you don't like some of these. Just remember that all the other codexes have these as well.
Because it'll be that one hilarious thing that you don't use it for like 50 games, and all of a sudden there's
You'll
that
remember
vehicle
it.
you need to die.
You'll somehow remember that this stratagem exists.
But nobody else will. Your opponent will remember it.
Okay, so we got Cognate Overwatch. Oh, this one's probably going to be pretty good. It's only 1 command point. Use this stratagem before an Adeptus Mechanicus unit from your army fires Overwatch. Cognate weapons are fired using the normal ballista skill when resolving these attacks. For the purposes of this stratagem, a Cognate weapon is any weapon profile whose name includes the word Cognate. So the Cognate Heavy Stubber, twin Cognate las cannons, the Cognate Flamer, which wouldn't really matter. But yeah, throw back to the old Cognate weapons.
Yeah.
It's actually better because they last edition were they just like +1 to.
I think they were +1.
like
yeah.
5.
They
5 up
Overwatched on
Overwatch.
5. So the thing is that most of the units that can make use of this
Are
either the weapons aren't that great, like, oh, I can fire my heavy stubber at full ballistic skill.
like who carries Cognate Heavy Stubbers other than a knight?
The Cognos ones are on a couple. They're on the Doom Crawlers.
Oh, right, they got those. Yeah, that's true. And then,
But then
twin
the-
Cognate las cannons on a Doom
That's
Crawler as well.
no, that's not the Doom Crawler. That's
Oh,
the
it's the the Ballistari thing.
yeah, the Iron Strider.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't like them anyway, so maybe if
Okay.
you take them, it's cool. I don't take them.
I assume there's a bunch of different ways to play this army. Like I mostly just see Josh playing robots.
Yeah, because I like to play the heavy support stuff more than I do the fast stuff.
Yeah. So I don't really see those models being used too much. So I don't really know much about this stratagem. Cognate Overwatch.
So next one, we get the Protector Doctrine Imperative. So kind of there's your doctrines that disappeared in this edition.
Yeah.
Pop them back up. 1 command point. I will use this a ton. Use this stratagem before a Scutari unit from your army attacks in the shooting phase, and keep in mind, your crawlers are Scutari units. I'm like 90% sure, and I'm gonna have to check.
Yeah. I can do that for
But
you. Read.
yeah, go for it. You add 1 to hit rolls you make for the unit this phase. If the unit has an enhanced data tether or a broad spectrum data tether, you add 2 to the hit rolls instead.
See, that's
That's really good.
So
what's one of the last ones?
You wanted the Doom Crawler? They are Scutaria still. Okay.
Yep.
So what is this thing they mentioned with enhanced data tether or broad spectrum? Is that a special rule or is that
Okay, so your Doom Crawler can have either smoke launchers or the
broad
data tether.
spectrum data tether? So
Now, I don't know what the data tether does. I think it helps the leadership of close.
oh yes, Forge World units within 3 inches of this model equipped with the data tether add 1 to the leadership for the duration of the morale phase.
Who cares? Like, nobody really made
Yeah.
use of it, and they're free, but now you have one of those because you get +2 to hit.
All of a sudden you're hitting on. Oh, actually 1 is technically.
But here's the thing: now that if you're damaged,
Yeah. So all of a sudden
you've taken a bunch of wounds and you're hitting on 4s. Nah, I'm going to hit on 2s.
even if you got 1 or 2 wounds left, you're still hitting on 3s with that. Okay, that's really good. Yeah. Oh man, you're gonna pump that out. Oh, that's for all your command. Well, I haven't seen the other ones.
Point?
Yeah, that's a 1 command point for
I will
+1
use
or
this
+2
almost
to hit.
every single game I play.
Okay, well, what do you bring most of these Kataria? Just the Doom Crawler?
Well, the Doom Crawlers, but then I bring
the
guys on
Infiltrators?
foot too. Well, the Infiltrators, as
Yeah.
well as the Rangers, the Vanguard.
That's a lot of flechette blasters hitting on 2-1s. They hitting on 2s? Probably 2s.
Yeah, because I think you got to pay for the data tether for the infantry models. I don't ever bother.
Would you now, though?
No, because the +1 hit's good enough because they all hit on 3s. And I'm hitting on 2s.
I guess, yeah. You
Good
get
enough.
different rolls with Belisarius anyways. Next, for another command point, we got Conqueror, Doctrine Imperative. We've got ourselves, use a stratagem before a Scutaria unit from your army fights. Add 1 to the hit rolls you make for the unit this phase. If the unit is enhanced data tether or a broad spectrum data tether, you can add 2. So it's, again, the Doctrine. Again, only affecting Scutaria, but +2 to hit for a Doom Crawler in combat. For the Rust Stalkers and the Infiltrators, they can take those options, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing that with the Infiltrators, if you use that, and you get Taser Goads, because each roll of 6 up causes 3 hits rather than 1. So now it's each technically
4 up.
Well,
Well,
5s.
can they not get the?
The data tether. No, they don't have the data
Okay,
tether.
they
off.
cannot get it. So 5 up. So it's just like again +1 to hit with any like Tesla-like weapon. All of a
good.
sudden you've got.
I dig it. I really
a
like
strength
it.
5 with that weapon too.
Doesn't really help the Rust Stalkers because they're wound rolls
Yeah.
when they get the good rules.
Yeah.
Rust Stalkers, I
So,
don't love you. Infiltrators, amazing.
Another reason to bring more Infiltrators or Rust
Hilarious.
Stalkers. That's unfortunate, but oh well.
Next, we got Benevolence of the Omnissiah. Use this stratagem when an Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle or Questor Mechanicus model from your army suffers a mortal wound. Roll a d6 for the mortal wound, and each other mortal wound inflicted on the model for the rest of the phase. On a 5 up, you ignore it.
So it's exactly like the Grey Knights got it, the Space Marines got it. I can't remember what it was called.
I can't remember, but yeah, it's the same. It's the
Ignore
same one.
wounds on a 5 up for a vehicle. Useful. I mean, I've seen it come up a few times, so not gonna throw shade on this one,
Yep.
but I like it. Tech Adept for 1 command point is the next one. Use the stratagem after an Adeptus Mechanicus character from your army has used an ability to repair a friendly model. Master of the Machines is an example. The character can immediately attempt to use that ability again and can even use it to repair the same model. So 1 command point to do 2 wounds, most likely, or 2d3.
Well, 2 repairs, yeah, so 2d3 back, so...
Or 2 on a knight.
Again, the Doom Crawler, 2 on a night if you really need to.
You could really pump a Doom Crawler back up to full with that, though.
Yeah, you can get him a bunch of wounds back.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Call, if he's almost dead, and try to patch him back together.
Yeah. Call can't use it on himself, though, right?
He can't use it on himself.
But you have another guy nearby.
But he has a built-in heal D3 a turn or D6 a turn.
That's
or
right,
something like
yeah.
that.
That's true.
So not super useful, but I could see in a couple circumstances that being really handy.
Again, only 1 command point might come up.
But
Probably
here's the
will,
other one
actually.
that you can do for 1 command point. Machine Spirit Resurgent. Use this stratagem at the start of any turn. Pick an Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle or Questor Mechanicus unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, use the top row of the model's damage table, regardless of how many wounds it has left.
Okay, that's another good way to blow command points, especially if you have a knight. Especially if you have a knight.
And he's sitting on 1 or 2 wounds
Yep.
left, and never mind, he'll be fine this turn. He's
Yeah.
going to use his full stats.
Yeah, your opponent gives a good. At least he's useless now.
Nay, nay.
I got 6
nay.
command points.
That one, again, situational, but could be really powerful.
It'd be super useful. I like that one a lot. That's so annoying. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got 1 command point. Rage of the Machines. Use the stratagem before an Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle from your army attacks in the shooting phase. Until the end of the phase, that vehicle can ignore all penalties for moving and firing heavy weapons, for advancing and firing assault weapons, and for advancing and firing a Cognate weapon. For the purpose of the stratagem, a Cognate weapon is any weapon that uses the word Cognate. So, for 1 command point,
I don't use the Striders.
right.
I don't use the chickens.
Yeah.
The crawler that I use already ignores moving and shooting heavy weapons.
The Doom Crawler ignores that?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so like what...
Well, at least he used to. Hopefully he still does. He's got to.
Does he? He probably does.
Crawler.
Yeah,
Ignores
there-
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So anything that's got an assault weapon, I guess this is mostly.
He's got all heavy weapons anyways.
Yeah, this is mostly for crawlers or the.
It's for the chickens.
The chickens, yeah. Again, Josh doesn't really use them. I've never really seen them played that much.
There's a couple of these stratagems that might make them worthwhile, but you're spending stratagems to try to make them useful. No, I'd rather just robots.
Robots, yeah.
Okay, next we got Dune Striders.
Crawlers and robots.
Use this stratagem when an Iron Strider Ballistari or
Here we go again.
Sidonian Dragoon unit from your army advances. Roll 2 dice instead of 1 and add the results together when determining how much further the unit can move. So the chickens get fast, but they don't have large talons. Like, they don't do anything. No, they can... The thing about them is they can advance and still shoot their guns.
Yeah.
So if you got Rage of the Machines and Dune Striders together, like, I mean, they can advance and shoot their heavy weapons at -2.
I'm thinking that'd be useful for objectives.
Yeah, to go jump onto an objective.
Yeah.
Or just that out of nowhere moving, it's like 8 or 10 plus 2d6 and then shooting a twin Cognate lav cannon at somebody. That would be funny.
Or to get behind enemy lines. Yeah, just to get you that one objective. Like, oh, okay, obviously, ignore me like face palming. I don't think it's that great, but mobility is a key factor of the game, and that's that gives you a massive amount of mobility. I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's great, though.
I think it's a little weird.
Meh.
Acquisition at any cost. For 2 command points, you use the stratagem at the end of any of your turns. Select an Adeptus Mechanicus infantry unit from your army that is within 3 inches of an objective marker. Until the start of the next turn, you can add 1 to all saving throws made for that unit and increase the attack characteristics of all models in that unit by 1. So...
Get off my lawn.
Get away from my objective for 2 command points. So we're looking for infantry. Does it count breachers and destroyers as infantry, or are they?
I don't know if they are or not.
They probably are.
I'm thinking...
Because I know like Necron destroyers
again, like
are.
the infiltrators and stuff like that. But survey says they're infantry.
Oh, no, I'm talking about
the destroyers. Yeah, they're
destroyers and
infantry.
breachers. Oh, they are? Okay, good. All right.
Woot woot.
So that affects them. So all of a sudden your 3-ups go to 2-ups, your 4-ups go to 3-ups, and they can hit better in combat. No, obviously not bad for infiltrators and rust. Well, let's be real, infiltrators.
Yeah.
You're going to be having you'll have infiltrators over ruststalkers mostly. But yeah, that's 2 command points for that. Probably wouldn't use it. I'd probably just use it more on.
It's that clutch moment where you got to keep that objective.
I'd probably just keep you. I don't know. I'd add 1 to hit rolls. It's just so good. 1 command point plus 1 to hit. So good. That's free.
I know. Info Slave Skull. Use this stratagem immediately after your opponent sets up a unit arriving on the battlefield as reinforcements within 12 of one of your Adeptus Mechanicus infantry units. You can immediately shoot at the enemy unit as if it were the shooting phase, but you must subtract 1 from all resulting hit rolls.
So it's flak missiles from Space Marine Codex.
Yep.
Exactly. You get to fire at reinforcements.
Or no, it's the Auspex for them.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, I'm thinking flak missiles are against flyers, right? I'm thinking Auspex scanner. So same idea. Shoot at things coming in from reinforcements. Obviously very useful. This is something that might come up quite a bit without you realizing it even.
It's only for the Adeptus Mechanicus infantry units, though.
Well, it's again the
So
breachers
that's
and
your
destroyers.
breachers and destroyers. I gotta start using more of them.
Yeah, the fact that they're infantry. Like, Necron destroyers are infantry, so that was a key one too.
Here's a fun one. Machine Spirit's Revenge. Use this stratagem when one of your Adeptus Mechanicus vehicles is destroyed.
Yes.
Do not roll a dice. That vehicle automatically explodes.
So that can cause an insane amount of damage. At least D6 mortal wounds.
Well, keep in mind the
Yeah.
robots are vehicles too.
Do they blow up?
Yeah.
They come in. You buy them in units still?
Yep.
Interesting. Do they do D6 damage when they blow up?
I don't remember if they're D6 or D3 on a robot.
Because the smallest I've seen is just D6. Well, I guess I've seen more wound on some of them, but
Nope, they explode for D3.
D3 mortal wounds within 3 inches. Okay.
But still, kind of funny. Take
Huh.
some stuff down with them when they die.
Huh. Interesting.
For a command point.
It just automatically blows up. All right.
That's what we have, other than the ones that are specific to... Actually, we'll talk about the Knight ones here. But then they've got, the specific ones. So we got Knight of the Cog.
Yeah.
Use this stratagem at the start of any battle round before determining which canticle will be in effect. Select a Questor Mechanicus unit, so a Knight, from your army that's within 12 of a friendly Ad Mech character. The unit gains canticles until the start of the next battle round.
So that could be cover, which is always nice.
Yep, you can get cover or like the reroll ones to hit or reroll ones to
Yep.
wound. Or sorry, reroll ones to hit in either shooting or close combat.
Yeah. So do they benefit from the Tech Priest and everything, the rerolls from Tech Priest?
No, because
Okay, so
that's
that's
Forge World stuff.
Alrighty then. Well, that is pretty good. That is useful.
One other one here that's not specific to a Forge World is Rotate Ion Shields. Use this stratagem when an enemy targets a Questor Mechanicus unit from your army that has an invuln save. You can add 1 to the invuln save
That was pretty
until the
good
end of
too.
the phase.
You know the problem here I see with the Ad Mech, you're not going to have any command points for very long.
Nope, there's a ton of stuff to spend them on.
There's way too much stuff to spend on. Is it easy to make a brigade?
I haven't tried.
Or at least double
Battalions aren't tough. The stuff I like to take is expensive.
Yeah.
Really expensive.
So it'll be hard for you to take a brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be able to figure. No.
I tend to look at these codexes that come out, and I'm like, how do I make a brigade, or at least like 2 to 3 battalions out of this?
I'm sure you could. I mean, like, my preferred playstyle, not for strength, just in taking them all as I like, I don't think lends itself well to a ton of command points. So I'd have to be kind of stingy with them.
Yeah, you'd have to be very careful.
Overall, I mean, there's no stratagems that are really like, oh my god, that's amazing, you must do it. Other than,
There's a handful of just generally
the
good ones,
Protector
though.
Doctrine's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Elimination Volley is pretty decent.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to the Forge World specific ones in a couple minutes. Let's talk Warlord Traits. So your 6 generic ones that anybody can take. We're going to start off with Monitor Malevolous.
Yeah.
I almost said Marvelous.
It looks like Marvelous. It looks like Maleficent kind of things. Like Male Volus. There we go.
There you go.
Male Volus.
Somebody just cringed. It's probably David White. Once per battle, you can reroll a single hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll made for your Warlord. In addition, if your army is Battleforged and your Warlord's on the battlefield, roll d6 each time you or your opponent uses a stratagem, and on a 6 you gain a command point.
Okay, so that one is interesting. Okay, the first part, whatever. Once per battle, you get to do rerolls on certain things. It could be good if you're hitting on a 2, reroll on 1. But so 17% chance-ish that you get a command point.
Every time either you or your opponent uses a stratagem.
So you see these coming up, same in the Death Guard code. There's a way to get command points back, which is which helps with all of these stratagems that you want to be blowing. This is a nice little one. Would you take this one off the top of your head? Is there ones you like more?
Out of all the generic ones, it depends on how I'm running my list, but maybe.
That's kind of cool. Because you know you're going to roll a bunch of 6s when you run this one.
All right, number 2, Luka, go for it.
We got Magos,
Biologist.
Biologist. Magos Biologist. You can reroll failed wound rolls when attacking enemy infantry, beasts, or monsters with your Warlord. It's not bad because a lot of things are infantry. There's not a lot of beasts. There's some monsters.
Yep.
Tons of infantry, so reroll wounds against infantry.
Honestly, like, I don't know. I think they want you, after reading a bunch of the rules in here, they want you to be more aggressive with your tech priest. Then he sits in the back and gives rerolls.
I know.
Like, if any of these rules are taking effect for me, things have went terribly wrong.
At least I get to reroll against infantry.
Yeah, it's like, oh great, but why is he fighting infantry? Like, he can reroll against that monster. Why is he fighting a monster? Why didn't you shoot it to death?
Oh.
Mecha Dominator. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls they make for any other vehicles that target your Warlord. I mean, it's super random funny. Like, I don't know.
Mecha Dominator. It's an amazing Warlord
King
trait
wants
name.
to shoot at me? Just no.
We got the Necro Mechanic. Each time your Warlord uses an ability to repair a friendly model, it regains one additional wound. That's useful. So D3 plus 1, 1 plus 1, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just very simple. I mean, if that's what you're bringing a tech priest for, there you go.
Well, because all the tech priests and the tech priests automatically repair themselves at the start of every turn too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, he's a little bit better doing that. This is probably my most interesting one, depending on the list I'm running. Chorister Technus? Chorister?
Chorister.
Whilst your Warlord is on the battlefield, you can reroll the dice when you randomly select which canticle the Omnicide is being canted. If your Warlord has the Glory of the Omnicide dogma, you can only reroll the first dice, not both.
Oh, it's fair.
Right. We'll get to that after.
Yeah, we're going to get to the
dogma's after.
what the dogma
It's not
is.
bad. I see myself using a lot of call anyways, but this is kind of your... Call can adjust the roll. This allows for a reroll. Not bad.
Call will never be able to take this one, though. He'd always have to take the Mars one.
He has to take the Mars one,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter, though. Like, when we get to read about the dogma for Mars, you're going to see why it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's...
And one last one for us, Luka.
Prime Hermeticon? Sure. Friendly Forge World infantry units within 6 inches of roller can reroll hit rolls in the fight phase. All hit rolls, So yeah, you're...
Why is he that close to
Get
things
that-
fighting in the fight phase?
All you have to do is get your tech priest within 6 inches of enemies. Do you want him that close?
Well, 6 inches of a unit that's engaged with enemies.
Yeah, so I like 8, 9 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or more, depending if you're daisy chaining, I suppose. But
Yeah, nay.
that's pretty good if you're, I don't know, what they call the electro priests, infiltrators. But then again, they're not...
He can't
That's like if you're holding the line kind of thing, and like you have your tech priest there and you have a line of like electro priest. That's not going to happen either.
That's not the way I play.
Yeah.
So it's not doing anything for me of interest. Okay. Again, we're going to go to the Forge World specific ones after. We're going to flip to the Arcanum Mechanicum, which is your relics.
Generic. We're going to stick with the generic relics. We'll get to the Forge World specific ones afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Pater Cog Tooth.
I think it's Pater. Maybe Pater.
You models with an Omniscient Axe only. You replace that with this. It's Strength +2, AP -2, 3 damage.
Now, is the difference there the damage?
Yeah, I think the damage and the AP is a little bit better.
Okay.
But here's the fact is that I don't know the answer to that, because why is your guy?
Oh, here we go.
Like, why is he in combat? He didn't want to go get out of combat
with his axe in combat. Okay. The next one is Anzion's Pseudo Generator. Yeah, Anzion's Pseudo Generator. Each time the bearer fights, oh, there we go. They can make a D6 additional attacks using the following profile. Strength 4, AP -1, 1 damage. You can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon when attacking infantry. So shred, if you're familiar, against infantry.
Okay.
Sure. Again.
Why is he in combat?
Do your little spiel about combat.
We got the Auto Caduceus of Arcan Land.
Okay.
So this is what I used to take in 7th edition. It's not what it used to be, but it's still pretty good. At the start of each of your turns, the bearer of the relic heals 1 wound. And he's going to heal other ways too.
Yeah.
In addition, when the bearer uses an ability to repair a friendly Ad Mech model, you can reroll the dice to determine how many wounds are regained.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
So you give him the trait the Warlord Trait +1 as well on the wound on the roll.
Yeah. So he's repairing D3 +1 with a reroll if he rolls bad.
D3 +1 rerollable.
This is probably out of the bunch of them, probably the one I might take the most.
Really? I guess so. I haven't really. I mean, I guess the first two are combat oriented.
Well, it depends on again the rest of the list.
The Uncreated Gauntlet, I remember this one. Models with a Power Fist only. The Uncreated Gauntlet replaces the model's Power Fist with the following profile, so it's Strength ×2, AP -3, D3 damage still. So it's the exact same thing as a Power Fist. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit. Each time you successfully wound a vehicle with this weapon, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to other damage. So it's a Power Fist that does mortal wounds to vehicles.
Who cares?
Again,
Blah.
your guy's in combat. You don't
And the only one that can take this
is that the cybernetic Adeptus?
Yeah, the cybernetic the Data Smiths can do it. Nobody else gets Power Fist.
Do they help the Castellan robots still?
They do. Yep.
What do they do?
They're what lets you change protocols and they heal.
Okay, that's fair.
Ooh, next we got the Foss Phoenix. So it is you're replacing a Phosphor Serpenta. 18-inch range, Assault 3, Strength 5, -3 AP, 1 damage. You can't get any bonuses for being in cover against it.
So it just ignores cover. Okay.
I can see that every once in a while being taken.
It's
at least you shoot with it.
You're not in combat. It's 18 inches, not far. It's ignoring cover. Okay, yeah.
It's Strength 5, AP -3, whatever. Good enough.
Something.
3 shots.
You know what? I think you're right though. With this, the Arcan Land, where this thing is actually not
the
so bad.
Autocaduceus?
Yeah, it's actually not bad. Probably take that. Oh, we do have the Raiment of the Technomartyr now, though. Roll a dice each time the bearer of the Raiment of the Technomartyr loses a wound. On a 6, that wound does not lose. That model does not lose a wound. In addition, each time a friendly Forge World model within 6 of the bearer fires Overwatch, and you roll 6 to hit, you can make 1 bonus attack with the same weapon against the charging unit. But those further attacks do not generate extra attacks.
It's not bad. If you get a big healthy unit of robots, I like to run the robots typically in smaller units of multiples, but they eat up heavy supports too often. So I could see me taking this if I'm trying to build a battalion.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not bad.
Like I got to get my crawlers and my robots in there.
Yeah. So for every actual hit in Overwatch, which is a 6, unless you're doing Cognate stuff, you get an extra chance. Yeah. If you get like 40 shots, it's pretty good.
Well, in the right protocol, the robots are shooting 18 shots apiece.
Yeah.
So 18 times 5.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You're going to roll some 6s.
It's 90 shots.
Yeah. The Skull of Elder Nicola. Once per game. In your shooting phase, the bearer can unleash the power bound within the Skull of Elder Nicola. Should the bearer do so, roll dice for each enemy vehicle within 2d6 of them. On a 2-up, they suffer a mortal wound. Great.
2d6, eh?
Within 2d6, so anywhere between 2 to 12 inches, you can do a single mortal wound to vehicles on a 2-up.
Oh man, you know what? I get this feeling you don't like these relics that much.
Well, none of them are great. Like,
We got the,
That's okay. Everything else is good, though.
We got the Omniscient Mask. You can reroll failed hit rolls in the fight phase for friendly Scutaria units within 6 inches of the bearer of the Omniscient Mask.
Yeah, why are you in combat?
Sure, yeah. I mean, no, that's the same idea. 6 inches, you know, you could not be in combat. And it only affects Scutaria as well.
I know. That's what we got for the generic Arcanum Mechanicum. We're going to go back now. We're going to look at each of the specific forge rolls and what they've got, which should be a little bit more interesting. So I tell you what, Luka, you go on the Stratagem page.
I like Stratagems.
Because Stratagems and Warlord Traits are right there.
Beautiful.
And I will go and start us off with the dogmas once I can find them.
Okay. Oh boy, you guys are gonna like these dogmas, except for like 2 of them. 2 of them are.
This is pretty cool. We're going to start off with Mars.
Oh, you should leave Mars for last. Give him a tease.
Okay. We're going to start off with Graia.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Graia. I can't pronounce anything right.
I think it's Graia. Graia?
So the way this works, and this is just, oh yeah, they explain it in here. Roll a d6 each time a model with this dogma is slain or flees. On a 6, that model refuses to yield. Either the wound that slew it is ignored or the model does not flee.
So this is, again, these are the dogmas. So these are the tactics, right? These are the traits. These are army. These are across the army. If you're
Right.
Battle Forge and you're all part of Forge Rolled Graia. So
6s we say nah.
So it's a 6-up, feel no pain across the army. So this is like a durable Forge Roll, I suppose. I don't really know much about the
They
Ad Mech
refuse
Forge
to
rolls.
yield. Here's the big catch, though. However, Forge rolled units with this dogma cannot fall back unless there's a friendly Forge roll character on the battlefield.
Well, that drawback is just so crazy.
It's going to come up so often that you've lost all your characters. You lost the game already.
Your character can't fall back.
What do we got for a canticle for Graia there, Luka?
So the Stratagem?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Stratagem. So they have Steel Mind.
Sorry, guys, if there's a little hiccup there. We ran into some technical difficulties, but we're back at her. Rob's a wizard, so chances are he'll edit this out and you might not even hear it. Or if things don't line up perfectly, he'll leave this in. One way or the other. Let's continue talking about some Forge rolls here. Did we settle on Graia?
So yeah,
That's how we set it?
You did the whole, you did the dogma for Graia.
I'm just trying to figure out if I was pronouncing it right. So what do we got for a stratagem for them, sir?
So again, back to the Stratagem. Steel Mind, Iron Logic, 1 command point. It's very similar to Black Templars and the World Eaters. Use the stratagem when an enemy psyker manifests a psychic power within 24 inches of 1 or more of your Graia infantry units. I roll a d6 on a 4. That psychic power is resisted and its effects are negated. So you get the generic 4-up, ignore psychic power. If anything's within 24 inches of any of your infantry.
I mean, you only use it once in the phase, so
Yeah.
it's okay. It's nothing special.
It stops a lot of bomb spells out there right now. You're dealing with Magnus, giving that plus that 3 up vulnerable save. 4-up, no.
True.
Bam.
Okay. And then what about their unique Warlord trait?
Their unique Warlord trait is called Emotionless Clarity. So, models in friendly Graia units within 6 inches of your Warlord can shoot with assault and rapid-fire weapons even if there are enemy units within 1 inch of their own unit. But only if they target the closest enemy unit. In such circumstances, this model can shoot even if other friendly units are within 1 inch of the same enemy unit.
That's kind of cool. It's almost like they can shoot them like pistol weapons.
Exactly. All their rapid-fire and assault and rapid-fire weapons are treated as pistol weapons.
So, handy with like some of your Scutaria units.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of the guns I care about are heavy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help me out at all there.
So you're looking at the Rangers, the Vanguard.
Right. It's not terrible, though.
Yeah, most other things are heavy or pistol already. So it's not bad, actually. It's but then again, your Warlord has to be within 6 inches of these said infantrymen.
Not my preferred playstyle.
No.
Now, as far as their Arcanum Mechanicum, we have the Cerebral Technomiter. Tech Priest Dominus only from Graia. If your army is Battle Forge and includes the bearer of the Cerebral Technomiter, you start the battle with 1 additional command point.
So that is not bad.
Yep.
That is actually not bad at all.
So, kind of handy. I think there's better Forge worlds suited to my playstyle anyways, but
Yeah.
I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that. We're going to jump over now to, let's talk about Metallica.
Sure. Forge Roll Metallica.
So we have Relentless March. If a unit with this dogma advances, it can ignore the penalty for firing assault weapons and treats all rapid-fire weapons it is armed with as assault weapons until the end of the turn.
Yep. So you, well, I guess would you see your army as running and or advancing and shooting all the time?
Probably not. Again, if you're going to run more Scutari.
Yeah.
Like if you're using a really heavy Scutari contingent, I can see this being useful. but I wouldn't pick the for the Dogma. What do they have for a stratagem, sir?
So the stratagem for Metallica are Deafening Assault. Use this stratagem at the start of any morale phase. Pick one of your Metallica units. All enemy units within 6 inches of that unit must subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic until the end of that phase. -1 leadership can be big. That's probably popping 1 extra guy mostly.
It can kind of, yeah. But again, for a command point to have 1 more Space Marine run away?
Graia and Metallica seem like very, again, so Metallica's advancing and shooting a lot of its stuff. Graia is just never running away kind of a thing.
Yep.
These are both combat oriented.
They're really in your face forward rolls. Now they have a Warlord trait.
Yeah, the Metallica Warlord trait is ordered efficiency. If a friendly Metallica unit is within 6 inches of your Warlord when it falls back, it can still shoot during its turn, but subtract 1.
Ooh,
so
that's not bad.
Yeah, so in and out, in combat, falling back, shooting another unit. So you got 2 units, one's in, charging into combat.
Yep.
Next turn they fall back, they shoot, the other shoots, charges in. It's a lot of in and out combat.
That almost I could build a list around.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind getting in your face with shooting.
Because again, your whole army, if you have your whole army as assault or rapid fire, so vanguards, rangers, probably vanguards, I'd assume.
Yeah.
They're running up, advancing every turn, charging. Then you have electro priests. Then you have infiltrators. Then you're just constantly in and out charging.
See, yeah, I imagine myself just marching up the board with robots and having these Qatari support.
Yeah.
And being able to, the robots are in combat. I can fall back out of combat, still shoot with them at the penalty, and then get those Qatari units to advance up and put some shots in to help out. Yeah.
A Metallic army is a fast army.
Now they have the Adamantine Arm as their Arcana. Metallica model only, has the following profile. It's a melee weapon, strength times 3.
Interesting.
AP minus 3.
Okay.
3 damage. You can only make 1 attack with this weapon when the model fights. So you got 1 really strong, gonna punch you.
So wait, it doesn't replace anything, right?
It doesn't replace anything.
So you can still have your omniscient axe.
Yep.
And then you just put
one of the
attack.
attacks goes into the arm at strength
It's
times
just one
3,
really
AP minus
strong
3,
arm.
3 damage.
It's like a thunder hammer. It's just strength times 3 thunder hammer.
It's his strong hand.
What's the strength on a tech priest, like 3? Is it 4?
I think they're 4s.
So it's strength 12?
That's kind of cool.
Strength 12? Okay. That's a really jeez. Wow.
It's kind of weird.
That's
like,
crazy
it's more oddball than anything else. Like,
Strength 12. Can you imagine that in comparison? Like, what's the strength?
well, because you can give them the Canticle for +1 strength too.
Yeah. So all of a sudden strength 15.
So it's strength 15.
Strength 15. That's almost as strong as Mortarion swinging his axe.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
So entertaining.
Interesting.
Not the best, but kind of cool. We're going to talk about Lucius,
Forge World Lucius.
the Solar Blessing. When making saving throws, and this is the army-wide one, guys. This is the Dogma. When making saving throws, units with the Dogma treat enemy attacks with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 as having an armor pen of 0 instead.
Yeah. Screw you, Necrons, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Plus a lot of the other kind of AP -1 attacks out there.
There's when you think about it, like that's a mass. Like that's well, at least
I like this.
I play Necrons all the time, right? So
Yeah.
that's and the entire Necron army has -1 across the board at least. So that's a huge. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
Lucius is one of the ones that I had picked out as being
What are the better ones?
interesting.
So Lucius, okay, right off the bat, you ignore -1, so that's ignoring heavy bolters. That's ignoring all Gauss flares for Necrons.
Yep.
What else is this ignoring?
The bolt rifles from Primaris
Yes,
Marines.
Intercessor Marine bolt rifles you're ignoring.
Heavy flamers.
Heavy flamers.
A lot of the good stuff.
Yep. So there's like, of course, the missile launchers. You can't anything -2 or more. You can't ignore that. It's just
You don't-
-1.
But it ignores the -1. It doesn't reduce it by 1. It just ignores
The
-1.
So -2 is still hitting you at full force, but it's still very useful.
I like that.
I do not like that. For stratagem, so we're at
Lucius.
Lucius, Legio Teleportarium. Okay, this one I can tell is already gonna be cool. You get the idea of this one. Use this stratagem during deployment. You can set up a Lucius unit from your army in a teleportarium chamber instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, this unit can teleport into battle, set up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from the enemy models. Are you thinking robots?
Oh, I'm always thinking robots.
Robots, right?
That's what this army is about for me. I mean, there's other things you can do it with. It's a good way to go, surprise, here's my Cataphrons.
Or if you really like Rust Stalkers,
No. Still no.
It gives them that infiltrate ability. Yeah, so you know what? Lucius is pretty solid so far. Ooh, their Warlord trait. They have Masterwork of Bionics. Add 1 to invulnerable saving throws they made for their Warlord. So 5 up vulnerable. No, a 4
It goes
up
from
vulnerable.
5
up,
to a 4.
5 up to a 4 up. It's all right.
It's not bad.
It's all right. I mean, you wouldn't ever have to, like, so Lucius Warlord trait, you wouldn't have to take it because he's not a named
take one of the
character.
other ones.
You can just
I
take one of the other
might
ones.
almost because of the relic that they've got, though.
What do they got for relic?
So we've got the Solar Flare. Once per game, at the end of any of your movement phases, the bearer of the Solar Flare can teleport instead of moving normally. When they do so, remove them from the battlefield and replace them anywhere that is within 30 inches of their starting position and more than 9 away from any enemy models. So the big unit of robots you just teleported in?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to teleport my Warlord in the middle of them
The
now.
tech priest right beside them.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, no, because I'll have them in a circle and they'll just be a little spot right in the middle
Yeah.
for them.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
kind of like it. I could build
How big
around this.
of a Castellan robot list can you have?
I don't know. Like
I mean
they're-
army. I mean, oh, sorry, not army.
They're heavy
unit.
support. Oh,
Unit.
how big of a unit can you take them in?
Yeah.
You put me on the spot, man.
Is that 6?
Castellan robots 2 to 6.
So they can have 6. That's an expensive unit. But
Yeah.
you could do something. You could deep
That's a
strike in 6
660-point unit if you run them with the guns.
So what's 6 robots deep striking in? Your Warlord can blink in right between them all.
Yep.
What's a good Warlord trait you can take instead of that one though? There's got to be something. I don't know.
See, I looked about Invuln because I'm less scared about teleporting him around and he's more survivable. And I
Yeah.
kind of like that. Again, beyond just the robots, this can help deal with some of the slowness of your army.
Yeah, the only thing I think is like Necromechanic, where he just heals like Castellan robots +1, even more. But it's not bad for a vulnerable save. It's like lackluster almost. I like exciting things.
See, really, I like this way better than Metallica or
The Metallica one. What was the Metallica? Fall back and shooting. That's super cool.
Well, okay, I'm talking about like the Forge World overall. Like
Oh,
all
yeah,
the unique
the
stuff.
overall.
I
yeah,
could see me
agree.
playing Lucius. I couldn't see me playing. I could maybe play Metallica.
-1 AP and the Teleportarium Chamber. Huge. I like those. Those are really cool. So I agree. Overall, I do like that more.
Oh yeah, I should probably. Oh yeah, that. I
Never
did
the
talk
relic, yeah.
about that. Next, Forge World, Agrippina.
Agrippina. Agripinaa. Staunch Defenders.
Agrippina.
Agrippina. There we go. I like that. That's good.
That's probably both super wrong.
Agrippina is definitely right.
I'm gonna get a text from David White.
Agrippina.
Okay. Staunch Defenders. When firing Overwatch, units with this dogma hit on roll 5 up instead of only 6, irrespective of modifiers.
So again, this is army-wide.
Yep.
If you're bringing a full Agrippina force. 5 up.
I dig it because I like shooting.
Yeah. So that's
You know what? I like shooting you in your charge phase too.
yeah. Again, this is your robots with their tons of shots. Their
Well,
your
the same the
cataphrons.
Scutari, the Vanguard. They have 3-shot guns.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of firepower coming at you.
I agree. That's actually not that bad. For Stratagem, Agrippina is going to have, Fresh Converts.
Yes.
It's a novel. 1 to 3 command points. Use the Stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Pick one of your units of Agrippina Servitors, Agrippina Cataphron Destroyers, or Agrippina Cataphron Breachers. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. Anyways, if you spend 1 command point, you can choose a unit with a power rating of 5 or less. If you spend 2 command points, you can choose a unit with power rating 10 or less. 3 command points for a unit of 20 or less. You cannot pick a unit with a power rating of more than 20. Remove your chosen unit from the battlefield. You can set it up again as you would a unit arriving as reinforcements. Set up the unit in your deployment zone within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches away from enemy models at its full strength. Full strength. Keep that in mind. Full strength. So, what is the biggest size you can have for a unit of Cataphron Breachers or
I
Destroyers?
think they go up to 12 models.
Well, I think you're right, actually. I remember facing that a little bit ago.
I've never played it. I couldn't see myself doing it. But if I was playing these guys, I just might.
So,
It'd be super annoying to
so
deal
you
with.
get 12 Breachers, or 12 Destroyers. You just say 12 Destroyers, you get them down to 1. You spend 3 command points. Guys, that's probably a 3 command point bracket, 20 or less power for 12 Destroyers.
I think that they're like 10 power for 3.
Oh, what 10 power?
Yeah, they're expensive.
Woo! Okay, well, anyways, you're getting 6 of them back.
You're getting a bunch of them back.
You need a 6, back up to 6. That could be annoying. You can do that every turn, right?
Yep.
If you have the command points. That unit's never dying.
What
That's
do we got
cool.
for Warlord trait
That's
form?
cool. Agrippina. Reinforced exoskeleton. All damage suffered by a warlord is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. So that is called a reinforced exoskeleton. So
It's not bad.
2 damage, so you're looking at, what's 2 damage? Autocannons,
Yeah, autocannons and...
plasma, overcharged plasma. Cool. I mean, it's not, I don't know. Again, I like things that, I don't like warlord traits that only affect the warlord.
Yep.
I like warlord traits that affect
the army,
Yeah.
I like these support characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Now for the Arcana, we got the Eye of... How would you pronounce that?
Z-Lexum.
Z-Lexum? Yeah. I like your confidence, even in...
That,
But if
as
it's
long
right-
as you sound confident, they will believe you.
That's the key. Okay. So at the start of your shooting phases, pick one enemy vehicle with an 18 in the bear. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for friendly Agrippina units that target the unit you picked for the rest of the phase. If the unit you picked is a Chaos vehicle, you can instead reroll failed wound rolls for friendly Agrippina units that target the unit.
Okay. So just hate chaos?
And just don't like vehicles.
Agrippina does not
Really
like vehicles?
don't like Chaos vehicles, though.
They do not like vehicles, nor do they like chaos vehicles.
They won't put up with any of that.
I see. Okay.
Pretty
I
handy.
don't- it's hard for me because I don't really know the Forge rules. Do you know the fluff behind the Forge rules a lot?
I don't know them that well. Like I've
these
seen the
make sense
names
to you?
pop up. No, I've seen the names pop up a couple, but
Alright.
I don't know the different Forge worlds
Okay.
and their stories that well. Like I know Rise is all about plasma. So if everything for them isn't to do with plasma, then that seems kind of weird. But
Yeah, all right.
yeah, I don't know them that well.
Again, this is like a new take in 8th edition. I don't often remember playing as Ad Mech in 7th edition where like, this is my Agrippina army, this is my Forge World Lucius.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
Yeah.
The only ones I ever saw was Mars.
Tons of Mars. Oh, everyone painted up Mars.
And
yeah.
then I want to say Ryza is the orange scheme.
I don't know.
I think Ryza is the orange scheme, and I've seen Ryza armies before.
Okay. Yeah, because I've just seen everyone paint the same Mars scheme. They don't even necessarily know it's Mars, they just like how it looks.
They're red. A lot of them are red base schemes anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty cool. Stygies 8. Stygies 8.
I like Stygies.
Stygies?
Probably Stygies, though. I don't know. I actually don't know what I'm talking about.
Every army's got this one. It's the Shroud Protocols. Your opponent must subtract 1 from their hit rolls when shooting at units with this dogma if they're more than 12 inches away.
So yeah, like, again,
I love it.
this comes into the whole, is this something that the Fluffy have, or there's just a bunch of armies that have this, like Raven Guard and Alpha Legion?
Yep.
It's just the copy-paste for that. It's just good. It's just -1 hit is always good. That is such a defensive mechanic.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a super strong mechanic, and I like it better than I do for the Raven Guard and Alpha Legion armies, because I find both those armies kind of want to get into mid to short range.
Yeah.
With
whereas-
this, no, I'm just going to
Nope,
stay far
nope.
away.
I am going to be 36 inches away from you. I'm going to shoot you with my robots.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because, yeah, both those armies, it's like, oh, the special rule helps us sneak up closer to you.
This
this-
just helps me stay away.
Well, this one, nah, it's just, I'm going to stay at the back of the board.
Yeah. Your already obnoxious army is even more obnoxious now. That is probably one of the Forge rules you're going to see. I would say you're going to see that one a lot. Tons.
I think that might be my number 2 choice.
Just -1 to hit.
Well,
Mars. Were you saying Mars is your number 1?
I think Mars is still my number 1, because Call's too good.
Yeah.
I love
So
Call.
again, Call, well, I guess Call's faction is Mars.
Yeah.
You can only bring a Mars army with Call.
Yep.
Anyways,
Well, it's only worth bringing it. You could bring a different army, but then the Forge rules don't match up, and the
you don't get any of the
bonuses
dogmas.
don't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're Stygies 8. Clandestine Infiltration. Use the stratagem during deployment. You can set up a Stygies 8 unit from your army in ambush instead of placing it on the battlefield at the beginning of the first battle round. But before the first turn begins, the unit is revealed. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So it's like the Legio Teleportarium for Lucius. They're both 1 command point.
Yep.
And it's just great
Get a
for
unit where you need it to be.
just backline shenanigans.
And that's the exact same. I think that's the exact same thing as the Raven Guard and Alpha Legion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. No difference there. So Stygies 8 is Alpha Legion to Raven Guard, but for Ad Mech.
We're sneaky robots.
For the Warlord trait, let's see if this is any different. Xenorite Studies. Add 1 to any wound rolls made for your Warlord against units that do not have the Chaos, Imperium, or Unaligned faction keywords. That do not have those.
It's
What?
basically the Xenos armies.
Yeah, so it's just like, we hate Xenos. I mean,
Eldar.
literally that. Yeah, Eldar, Necrons, Tau, Tyranids. Well, that makes sense. So Stygies 8 is Raven Guard, Alpha Legion that hate aliens.
Yeah, we really don't like the aliens.
They
And what
really-
is it? What's the bonus again? Adding
1
to
to
any
wound rolls. For
For
your
only
Warlord.
for Warlord.
Yeah, for your Warlord. So it's a Warlord specific one.
I'll take a different one.
Yeah.
Now we have for the Arcana the Omnissiah's Hand.
Sure.
Roll a dice at the end of each fight phase for each enemy unit within 1 of the bearer. On a 4 up, the unit suffers a mortal wound.
So that's good because that's both fight phases. That's
Yep.
yours and your enemies. Again, your Warlord's in combat.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing there.
I mean, if you're gonna use that, you're gonna use this Warlord trait.
Right.
He'll be a beast in combat.
You can make him kind of scary. Well, if he's fighting like Xenos.
But then again, this is the Warlord. This is the -1 to hit
Yep.
dogma. So I mean, why are you in combat?
Yeah, I don't know. Something again.
This
something
would bring the
about
argument
terror.
where it's like, oh, it helps you get into combat. Like it helps you sneak into combat. It's like if you're gonna play combat-y, you're only gonna get the dogma for like 1 turn.
Yep.
Otherwise, then everything's firing at normal. Again.
So one of my favorite dogmas, but the rest of it, meh.
Yeah. So an amazing dogma for Josh's specific playstyle as well.
Right. All right. We got 2 left here. We're gonna talk about Ryza. Red in Cog and Claw.
I like that name.
You can reroll wound rolls of 1 in the fight phase for units with this dogma.
I thought this was supposed to be a plasma.
It is.
This is supposed to be the plasma guys, right?
These are the plasma guys.
So they're rerolling 1s in the fight phase with his dogma. Your entire
Yeah.
army is rerolling 1s in the fight phase. So I'm a little disappointed with this one. I don't even play Ad Mech, and I'm disappointed with this one. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, it's not fantastic. But again, I like my shooty Ad Mech. There's things you can do with it. I mean, it works with certain.
Oh, of course. Once you start
builds.
making the actual melee list,
Well, because you could argue that it's boosting the melee components of the list, and you don't really need to boost the shooting ones that much because they're
that's
fine.
a good argument. Yep. So all of a sudden you have a pretty like above average shooting list,
Yep.
and then you throw in the Electro Priests, you throw in the Infiltrators, you throw in. That's pretty much like the main melee
Yep.
things you want in there, right? So all of a sudden you got a pretty reasonable list. Stratagems. Ryza is a plasma specialist.
Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So the plasma specialist, use this stratagem before a Ryza unit from your army attacks in the shooting phase. Add 1 to the wound rolls made for all of that unit's plasma weapons and increase the damage by 1. Ooh. So, for the purpose of the stratagem, a plasma weapon is any weapon that has the word plasma in it. Plasma cannon, plasma caliber, plasma culverin. I assume their plasma weapons are very similar to the Space Marine ones. Again, I haven't really faced them too much. They're shorter range.
Yeah, for most of them, they're shorter range.
They're shorter range, but they're still strength 7.
But they're assault ones, and if we look at the plasma from the Cataphrons here, because that's
they would have the plasma cannons, yeah. So you're caring about the breachers. So a plasma cannon is the
plasma
same.
culverin.
Oh, plasma culverin, sorry. Heavy D6, strength 7, AP -3. Yep. So it's the same profile. It's strength 8, except it's heavy D6. That's the only difference. The same plasma profile.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you're strength 8, so you're wounding most things on 3s, correct? Other than like land raiders and
Right.
other toughness 8 things.
Most
But then-
things you're wounding on. Yeah, a lot of the stuff, except for vehicles, you're wounding on 4s, but now you're going to wound them on 3s if you use
So
plasma specialists.
say you have a squad of 6 of these guys.
Yeah.
You pop this thing, all of a sudden you're wounding everything on 2s for the most part, and doing 3 damage a pop.
Yeah.
Supercharge.
If you go for the supercharge, yeah.
That's
Which you're going to go for the
huge.
supercharge because you're going to
Every
have
time.
somebody close by to
Yeah, the
reroll
tech
ones.
priest. Yeah, you're gonna have a tech priest besides 6 destroyers for sure.
Yeah.
That's really good. That will take a lot of things off the table.
Yep.
3 damage each, heavy D6 each. What's the range on? 36 inches on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a really good stratagem.
Right.
You have to
it
play
pretty worth
Ryza. You have to play Ryza though.
Yeah.
That means you're taking the dogma with the rerolling 1s in the fight phase.
I don't know. I think one of those, like, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to be able to skew a list towards a certain way, but I'm probably going to take some infiltrators and some other stuff.
Yeah, I would.
To-
If I was to play Ryza, right off the top of my head, I'd do exactly something like that. It might not be good. It'd probably be bad. But I'd bring infiltrators. I'd bring
The
electro
tech priests.
priests,
Yep.
tech priests, yeah, and I'd bring a 6-man squad, maybe 2 6-man squads of those. Who knows?
Yep.
And then that's pretty much my list. A couple tech priests.
That could work.
Their warlord trait though, first-hand field testing. When you're setting up your warlord, choose one of their weapons. This cannot be an Arcanum Mechanicum, so it can't be one of the relics. Increase the strength and damage characteristics of that weapon by 1.
Ooh.
So Omniscient Axe, right? All of a sudden an Omniscient Axe.
Was it only the melee weapons, though, it said, or?
Yeah, choose one of their weapons. Oh no, only one of their Oh, any weapon.
So we could do the Volcker Blaster.
Yep.
24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 6, 1 damage.
So strength 7 does 2 damage.
Yep.
Okay.
Or the Eradication Rays, heavy D3, strength 6, AP -2, 1 damage.
Okay.
Attacks from this weapon that target enemies at 8 inches or less are resolved with AP -4 damage of D3.
So D3 plus 1.
Okay. I think it's kind of cool.
But then again, the axe would be so cool.
No, because you can't
Maybe
swing
it's-
because you shouldn't have them in combat.
What's the Riser Wellick? Wellick.
The Wiza Wellick is the Wazer rifle.
Okay.
No, we got weapon.
Oh, boy.
Do you know your Roman numerals?
It's not Roman numerals, is it? Ooh, this is CI? No, actually.
Is it? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's a weapon Z.
XCIX?
XCIX. XCX.
Somebody's going to point out what it's supposed to be.
ZCC.
All right, so
ZCX.
it is replacing the Volcker Blaster, so it's on your
Oh, okay.
Indominus.
So you can't use the one Warlord trait for this one.
24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage. And each time you make a wound roll of 6 up for the weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. So is it just the Volcker Blaster that has the relic? Yeah, it's basically a Volcker Blaster that has the thing already applied to it.
Yeah.
And has AP -1 built in too instead of AP.
So if you're going to bring that Warlord trait, you throw it on. Can you take the Volcker Blaster and the Eradication Beamer thing?
No, it's one of the others. You put it on his pistol.
Oh, right, okay.
Actually, yeah, you can turn his macro stubber into a strength, strength 5, 2 damage?
2. Oh, that's not bad. He's got 5 shots.
Pistol 5, yeah. That's pretty funny.
You can put him in combat and get, I like getting these guys in combat. Maybe I want to play the combat-y Ad Mech. It doesn't seem that bad.
It's definitely doable. I mean, it gets closer to being able to play like the Order Reductor style from 30K. Which is cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it for dogmas that aren't Mars.
Now let's get on to Mars.
Mars, I think, is number 1.
Glory to
As
the
it should be.
Omnissiah. Each time you randomly determine which canticle of the Omnissiah is being canted, so remember, you can either pick which one or you can roll, but you can't pick one twice. So if you're trying to get one for a second time in the game,
You have to roll it.
you roll 2 dice instead of 1. All units with this dogma receive the benefit of both results instead of just the result of the first dice.
It's sexy if you roll doubles, though.
Yeah, you only get the 1 anyways, but who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's still already pretty good.
Again, this is the forge roll you're bringing
You got
call
call.
with. So his ability
To adjust the roll up or
works
down.
for both.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like actually official. It doesn't state that it works for both, but the way I read it,
doesn't.
yeah, the way that Josh and I read it, it works for both. So if you do roll doubles,
you can add or subtract 1 when rolling on the canticles of the Omnissiah table.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't use both.
So you roll 2 dice, you have call, and you roll doubles. You just bump one up 1, you bump the other by 2, or just keep it where it is, whatever.
Yep.
It's very flexible.
It's pretty
crazy
good.
flexible.
I like this.
So double canticles.
So good
every turn.
dogma. Now I know ahead of the time that we're gonna like the stratagem too.
Yes, so the Mars stratagem, right off the bat, Wrath of Mars, amazing. This is my favorite stratagem. 2 command points for this. Pretty good price for this. Use the stratagem before a Mars unit from your army attacks in the shooting phase. Each time you make a wound roll of 6 up for that unit, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any damage.
Yep.
That's 6+ as well. So
On.
So if you could get +1 to wounding, is there a way to get +1 to wounding in this army?
I can't remember if there was a +1 to wound. I don't think so.
+1 to wound is a little bit harder to get to. Well, other than the Ryza.
The Ryza one thing does it.
Oh, that's strength. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to get +1 to the wound. But who cares? That's still, you're gonna start to throw some mortal wounds out.
Tons more. That's just that's free wounds on a 6 to wound, in addition to the normal damage. So again, you're thinking of a good list that's going to pump out a lot of shots. I assume do you like to play Ad Mech that pump out a lot of shots?
Yep. So robots and Vanguard.
Yeah. And then that's all.
Robots are 9 shots each, or 18 if they're in the right protocol.
Yep.
And then the Vanguard are 3 shots each. That's some mortal wounds you get to throw.
That's a lot of mortal wounds you're throwing around with that. That's 2 command points. That's 10-man squad of Vanguards. They have the same gun each, has 30 shots.
Yep.
Yep.
I like it.
I do like that. Okay, anyways, Warlord trait for Mars. Static Psalm Code. I can't remember now. The Static Psalm Code. Now, this is the one that Belisarius has to take.
Right.
Add 3 to the range of any aura abilities on the Warlord status sheet.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That is fine by me because Call gets that huge reroll of all your
Everything.
misses in the
Yeah.
shooting.
And
it's within 6, so it goes to within 9.
9-inch bubble on him to reroll all failed hit rolls in the shooting phase.
Yep.
I would take that easily. I would take that over any of the. I'd probably take that over any of the basic results.
I think so, yeah.
I'm perfectly happy with that.
Yep.
This is called this massive bubble, like an 18-inch bubble of reroll everything. Especially when you got
That's
those robots
really
with
good.
18 shots.
Yeah, you get the robots throwing a ton of shots. But I mean, that's an army that I can advance up the board with comfortably and just put tons and tons of firepower everywhere. Now, last thing we got is the Arcanum. Again, nothing too exciting. Mars model with an Omniscient Axe only. Replaces it. So it's strength +1, AP -5, 2 damage.
Who's that one there? Which one's that?
This one right here.
Oh, the red axe. So it's okay. Better AP. That's all it is, right? Better AP. AP -5.
It's better AP.
Strength plus
Yep.
1, 2 damage. That's all. Just what is it normally? AP2.
Yep.
So it's just AP5 instead of AP2, which is relevant against vehicles for the most part only.
Yeah.
Because even against Terminators, it's still getting a 5-up save,
Right.
invulnerable save. So
Not too bad. So that is the new book. Kind of cool. What do you think? Give me your initial thoughts after skimming through this. Not being an Ad Mech player.
not being an Ad Mech player, Mars seems to trump all the other dogmas.
Yep.
In my mind. Follow up would be I do like Ryza actually. I do like Ryza quite a bit just because of that one plasma stratagem. Just delete anything, right?
Right.
Lucius is a good runner-up. So is you know what? I think they're all pretty good. I'm mostly disappointed with. Oh, I can't think of the name. What was it? The one dogma.
Is it the Rise of Dogma?
I was disappointed with the Rise of Dogma, being that they're the plasma guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make it work. It's fine. Other than that, though, I'm kind of disappointed they did the copy paste on the -1 to hit. It's just a good ability to have.
Yeah. Every army's gonna have that apparently.
I guess I just don't like seeing it across the board.
Yep,
Death
kinda
Guard
boring.
don't have it. Well, I mean, Death Guard have that not in a dogma thing, but they have it built into the army.
Yep.
Every army's gonna have access to it. It looks like.
Right.
So I guess if everyone if everyone has access to it, it's inherently not overpowered.
True.
Yeah, so it's like an internal balance thing. I guess it's a good thing they're giving it to everyone. I don't really know much about the Ad Mech. I do know that Mars. So I like that.
What do you think about the stratagems overall? Like beyond just the Forge Worlds, what do you think? Because they basically took it was almost a copy and paste from the Index.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty well the exact same. I don't think the army really needed much of anything.
No, you got the dogmas, you got the stratagems, you got the relics.
Yep, and a couple little tweaks here for point costs and stuff, but very minor stuff. Overall, I'm satisfied with the book.
Of course. I mean, I think it put them in a good spot. They weren't weak before.
Nope.
By any means. Now they got more to flesh them out. I'm very pleased with Mars. Mars should be probably the top dog, I'd say.
And they are. They've done a good job with that. I think this bodes well for upcoming books too, because I wasn't sure how they were going to do. Like this is talking from a while ago before they started making announcements.
Yeah.
We weren't sure what it was going to look like for different Forge Worlds having different rules and different Imperial Guard regiments and all that.
Like Necron
Tau,
Dynasties, Tau
Seps,
Seps. Yep.
all sorts of stuff.
It looks like that's what we're going to get, though.
So I'm pretty excited for it. I like the book. There's nothing that really stands out for me other than the fact, I mean, there's some decent stratagems, but nothing too crazy. Nothing I'm going to really try to build an army around, which I kind of like, because I was wondering how much it was going to change my preferred playstyle.
Yeah.
I can still play the army I want, and now I got some new little tricks
Yeah.
I can do.
Well, the way Mars plays, you're going to play your army the exact same way, I assume. You changing much at all?
I don't think I'm going to change anything at all.
And you're just going to play a Mars
Yeah.
for the most part? Majority of their games, yeah. I mean, you said you want to
I'll try some
try
of
the
other
other
ones
Forge
out
Worlds
just to
out.
see, but I think Mars might be my go-to for the first little while. So I like the book. I kind of want to see what it looks like on the battlefield, getting to try out some of these stratagems, because that's the big one for me. I don't think I'm going to find a relic and be like, oh my god, I didn't realize how amazing this was.
Yeah.
And like they're okay.
The relics are very lackluster across the board. Usually, the relics I've always liked are the ones that increase the aura abilities. I've been a big fan of those ones. So Belisarius just has that built in as a Warlord trait now.
Yeah.
I just love how he got the internal buffing, the non-direct buffing to Belisarius.
His army is really good. And
Yeah.
he was already a good support character, and now he's just a better support character.
This Codex comes out, nothing about him changes, but everything, the way everything else changed made him so much better.
So overall, I give this one a good old 4 to 5 stars. Pretty happy with it. They could have been a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
But I like the layout, and I like what the future holds for future books. When they're going to release some other stuff.
I give it a good 5 out of 7.
Give it a good 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
I like the
Because it was
abstraction.
kind of boring.
Yeah, there's certain stuff that was kind of boring in it, but it's kind of some of the stuff I didn't care about anyways.
It didn't need anything.
And
right?
they didn't
Yeah.
really go messing with the army. You still play the army you had before.
I know a lot of my friends were very curious. They're like, do you think they're going to get new models? New models. They're bringing out a whole new Death Guard line. Probably not going to get any new models for anything else.
This was already pretty new, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised with that. So guys, that is the review. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to jump into the vault now to try the game.
Yep.
With using some of these new rules. So if you're a Vault member, check out the link below. If you're not a Vault member, you can click on the link anyways. It'll take you to a 7-day free trial for the Vault. You get to check out the game as well as everything else we have in the Vault. So everything we do, we tend to do in pairs, so that's more than twice as much content.
Yeah.
So quite a few more games, as well as you get access to Chris and Janine's painting tips and tricks, some fun behind the scenes stuff, and just a whole lot of goodness. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and happy wargaming.
Happy wargaming.